Hi everyone, and welcome back to Vernon Solutions, the Learn HTML tutorial using W3 Schools. We've reached the CSS chapter, and I'll just point out a couple of things here. This is pretty complicated. It's complicated enough that W3 Schools devotes an entirely separate tutorial just to CSS, so I don't take this lightly. In this particular video, I'm just going to try and give you a sense of what the cascading style sheet really means in terms of what does it mean to cascade. And so you can see that you can use this to affect all kinds of layout, colors, and other style aspects of your entire website. And that's the beauty, if you will, of cascading. The definition sort of talks about how a style applied to a parent element will apply to all children elements, but there's no real explanation of what parents and children are in this context. I think maybe the best way to make progress on that is to note that you can add CSS inline in a style attribute inside a single HTML element. You can add it internal to a page by using the style element in the head section. Or if you apply it external, it really looks the same on a single web page, but since you can link to an external CSS file, you can see that you could actually do that for your entire website, have a single CSS file or style sheet that would define styles for every page in your website, and that is a more efficient way to think about style. You can see the first try it yourself, which I'm not going to bother with, looks at how you can put things inline, and we've seen that before in the styles chapter and the elements chapter, so I won't repeat those here. With the internal CSS, I think I'll focus this one on that particular issue, and you can see some examples here, and this one it is useful to look at the try it yourself, just to point out what we have done in this one, or what W3 Schools has done. They've created a style tag or a style element. Notice that it's inside the head section, which means it's not being displayed in the body itself, although it's affecting what is displayed in the body. So think of the body as a child. So everything we define up here is inherited by the child, and in fact we see the body, which has a background color of powder blue. We see the heading, which is blue, and the paragraph, which is red, but we don't really get a sense of that inheritance until we actually use the cascading feature. So let's do that by adding a couple of tags and having their own unique styles. So the first thing I've done is simply copied the headings and paragraphs. That's my dog. If we run this, it's a little bit boring. We get a repetition, but you can see that each heading and each paragraph inherits from the parent the color and so forth. So now let's change some inline styles and see how this works. So I've added some inline CSS here. I've added a style attribute, and you'll see that I've reversed the red and blue. If I run this, hopefully you'll get a little bit better idea of how cascading works, because notice that the first and the third set of heading and paragraph were not affected by this inline. They inherited. In fact, they all inherited from the paragraph, but we overrode it with the style attribute in the middle heading and the middle paragraph. So that's hopefully at least an introduction into how the cascading part of cascading style sheets works, and we'll pick it up in the next video in the series.